we are going to make this awesome prototype inside of Figma. Basically, we're going to make Game Boy emulator inside of Figma. Obviously, there's not going to have a game component to this, but it's going to be really fun nonetheless. In here, we'll talk about variables, some auto layout stuff, some advanced prototyping with conditional logic, and also updating our variables as we go inside of our prototypes. Now, you might be wondering, when would I ever use this? And here's an example that I actually used in the real world in my old startup that I worked at. It's called Hover. Basically, we made this thing where you can layer little elements on top of a website. So a marketing person who doesn't know code or doesn't have the builder set up on their website the way that they want, they could go add these elements like that would basically hover and it would reveal content. And so this was a prototype that we were reworking the way that you drop the little buttons and stuff on top of the website. And my stakeholders, my main stakeholder, my product manager, was happy with everything, but the next level up, the CEO, was really stressed about reworking it. Basically, not in a bad way, just they were kind of nervous that the current customers were going to get thrown off. But because we kind of had to do this in a new way, specifically for an optimization problem where with responsive issues and things like that, it was really hard to place it right in the right spot, and so we had to rework the way it was going to be built. And in that, we had to change the way that you would target the placement of the element. And so we had to do that. And then additionally, we wanted a refined placement. So with a pointer, you might click right here to select your element, but maybe it bumps just to the right. And there was no way to move it just a few pixels without being able to, pick it up and drag it again. And you might, again, replace it in the wrong spot. And so all that said, we kind of wrapped a bunch of stuff in, and the stakeholder was still like getting worried about making the change. And so I made this really banging prototype that ultimately sold the deal. And here is what we did. So basically, instead of just dropping it anywhere, I used components to be able to swap these elements out, so that when you hover on this, it clicks to place here or click to place here. And basically, the prototype was always just to click in the top left. So in here, you could drag to move it, but then also you were able to use your arrow keys at this point to get it pixel by pixel. That was really where we sold the deal. The stakeholder was super excited and finally bought in. And so with all that said, we're going to go build this, and so that maybe one day we'll be using this prototype as well. So, but for now, we're going to be talking about Pokemon, and Pokemon is a fun thing. So let's just dig into it. So first off, what I want to show, we've got this screen laid out here, and I'm going to kind of break all this and rebuild everything, okay? So we've got this frame, and okay. So in here's our screen, and I'm going to just put a fill of white so that we could see that screen. So we're going to put Ash inside. That's kind of like step one is what we'll do. So first off, we've got Ash looking to the left, up, down, and right. So we're going to just grab these and go ahead and create component set. Just note that I'm not pressing here, I'm pressing just to the right and then pressing create component set. And then now we'll rename this property, we'll call it direction. And we'll put this one, instead of component 10, we'll call it left. Call this one up. Call this one down. And by the way, I'm pressing tab to be able to tab between these. And then right. That way you don't have to keep moving your mouse back and forth. Okay, so we've got Ash. Let's have him facing to the left. I'm holding Alt to duplicate it out. And yeah, so now it is inside of the screen frame, which is great. So I'm going to just go ahead and center this. And now we have Ash. Okay, so what's our first step? Well, we want to point Ash in different directions. So let's go ahead and set up some variables to be able to accommodate that. So I deselect everything and I press local variables. Just a heads up, if you are in the free plan on Figma, you will not be able to access this. This is a paid feature, but it's very worth learning this and taking the time and money to put in that little investment to be able to build out something like this. Because basically understanding how to work with advanced prototypes is one awesome thing. That's what we're diving into here. But there's also variables inside of design systems and components, and all this is super valuable. So definitely something that you want to learn. It's not something that you could avoid for too long in the real world. So I'm gonna create a string variable. We'll call this direction, and yeah, we're going to just place it as we'll call this right. Okay. So perfect. So now we're going to go back here and we're going to assign that variable to this. So instead of selecting up, down, left, or right here, we're going to hover right here, and there's a way to assign the variable right there. And right away, direction is shown. And so look at that. So we've got direction is shown and Ash moved. Now I'm just going to rename this from right to left, or from left to up, or from up to down. So you can see now like the value right there, like right away we're already getting some movement from our variables. And so yeah, so here's what we're gonna do now. I'm gonna go ahead and create this movement panel so that way we can get Ash like turning, right? Because in a game, what we're doing is we're not actually in a game like this, you're not actually moving Ash like this. You're moving the background. That's how it works. So we've got Ash here, we've got the background here, and that's what's moving and simulating that movement. And so all that said, let's go set it up so that at least he's turning. So that way, once we get the turning going, all we need to do is get the background moving behind him, and we'll be ready to go. So I'm gonna just do this. I'm gonna place little like 4 boxes basically. Perfect. So these boxes can be hidden. So I double tap 0 to make it so that the opacity is not shown anymore. And now this is just like kind of fake buttons or like pseudo elements that aren't visible to anybody. We could rename these, probably don't have to, but for now, just because I'm showing how good I am as a designer. He says as his component of Ash is named component 11. Come on, let's rename him to Ash. Okay, there we go. Okay, so now I'm going to switch over to prototype, and here's where we get funky. So now we've got these dots, right? These little circles here. So you can kind of place it anywhere because we're going to update the change anyways. So instead of doing a scroll to, we're going to do a set variable, and we're going to set direction to right. Boom. Done. Easy. So on click, we're going to set the variable direction to right. So I'll do the same thing over here. What we can do is we can click this, press Command C, Command V, or Command or Control, and we're automatically able to move our interaction points like that. We're going to change this direction from right to up, and then I'm going to paste it over here. Instead of right, it's going to be left, and then I'm going to paste it again. And instead of right, it is down. Okay. Perfect. So let's run this prototype and see what happens. There we go. Look at that. So Ash is turning. Congratulations. We made a game. Not really. This is like a fake game as part of the fake game. So now we're going to get into the real juice. Okay, so we've got Ash moving. We've assigned a variable. We've updated that variable using these buttons down here. And we can actually take this another step. Let's actually, before we get into the map, let's take this one more step first. I want to also, in addition to this little, in addition to this click, we're going to make it where you click the right key on your keyboard as well. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to click, instead of clicking right here, I'm going to click just to the left. That selects the interaction from that panel. We're going to copy it with Command C or Control C and Command or Control V. So now it's doing the same exact thing, right? But instead of on click, we want to do on key gamepad press. And now we're going to press the right arrow key. Easy, right? Simple. So let's go do that over here on the other one. So I'm going to copy and paste. And then I'm going to, on game keypad, up, okay? Copy, paste, on keypad, left, okay? And just a heads up, I'm not copying and pasting it willy-nilly. I do have to copy and paste these properly. So you see, if I just pasted, see, it's not on this one. It's still assigning it to the left, right? We will need to assign that down. So that's why I was copying directly from each button. And okay, so now let's go ahead and press Shift Space, and we're previewing our prototype. And look at that. I'm using my keys and everything is pumping. Whoa, this is pretty dope. Okay, awesome. We're flying now. We're flying now. So let's go ahead and get into the real juice, which is moving the map. That's what is actually moving Ash in like the real space of the game, right? So I'm going to go ahead and drop it in here. But before I do that, let's just set a little, let's set up our stuff out here so that it's easier to visualize what's happening, okay? Because what we're going to do is we're going to use a series of auto layouts to be able to bump the map this way and bump the map that way, right? So here's how we do it. So basically just set some rectangles, right? Press the R key and set some rectangles. We're going to grab just these top two, and we're going to press Shift A, and now it's in an auto layout. And then we're going to grab this, and we're going to press Shift A as well. So what does that do? Well, we've got two auto layouts set up now, and now we can move these, and when it's inside of that screen, it's going to bump back and forth, right? Let me show you kind of how that's going to work. So I'm going to just center it. I'm going to press the left bracket to send it to the back. And now I'm going to, here's what I'll do is I'll unclip this contents so that you can kind of see inside. There you go. So as I slide this over, make it wider, it's bumping out to the left. But actually, if you notice, it's actually centered. So every movement actually needs 2 pixels to be able to center properly, or otherwise it's bumping only half a pixel left, which is definitely not ideal. So that's basically a simple constraints movement, which is just moving this instead of center, we're moving this left up, okay? And then now we're just going to, let's just set his initial positioning to something like right here, right? Perfect. So now we're sitting inside of the pathway and we're ready to go. I'm going to rename this whole frame to the map. We're going to also set this top row to left, right. And then this one is, kind of up, down, but it's really up, down bumper is what we'll call that. And then we'll call this guy left, right bumper. Okay? Makes sense? Let's test this, see that it's working. Shoot. Okay. This actually needs to go over to the left. Now it's working. Yeah. Okay. So I'll go ahead and move this here. We got Ash. Okay, cool. So let's just visualize that again for what we just did, because I'm sure that you're kind of getting a little confused on because it's getting a little hairy. So I'm just going to bump all this stuff out. Okay. So we are sitting inside of a screen, which we could clip the container and we'll just be showing the screen, but I'm showing you like the background of it so that we can understand what's going on. So as we set this width, we're going to increase and decrease this width so that Ash can move around, right? Then we're going to do the same thing right here. We're going to, instead of doing the width, we're going to increase and decrease the height, okay? And this could probably, again, be bumped that way. So that way we've got this guy moving and that guy going. Now, I could have simply just changed the constraints from instead of top, I can move that to the bottom. And then now we've got this bumping back and forth. But, we'll keep it clean. We'll do top left. And yeah, that'll be running for us. Okay, so we're making a map. We'll move it back here again. Now the one trouble is basically the minimums and the maximums is 1 pixel, right? A rectangle has to have width and height. So minimum and maximum is 1 pixel. So this is what it's going to roughly look like. So maybe we go ahead and bump the map around a little bit. So that, this should be roughly the maximum for Ash right here. Or no, sorry, the other way around. Let's set it like that. Boom, boom. Cool. Okay. So now when we move our top bump. We're bumping it down, and then we'll set a maximum of like 170. And then right here, same deal. We'll set a width as well. So we'll need to set a starting point to be able to get him right in this position, but we'll get to that in just a second. So we are now moving our little guy around. And the big thing that we need to set, though, is we need to set a left and a right coordinate, right? So we'll open up our variables panel. We'll set a number, and we'll call this left. And we'll say 1 pixel. And then we'll set another number of top. And there we go. Cool. So, actually, let's call this down. Yeah, left and down. Cool. All right. So, now all we need to do is go inside of our bumpers, right? We've got our bumper here, and it's currently set to 1. Let's bump it to like 50 just to like visualize that it's shown. So instead of setting this manually, we're going to click this little drop down right to the right of it, and we're going to apply a variable. And we're going to call this down, right? Because that was the left-right coordinate. And then this one, instead of the 1, we're going to apply a variable, and we're going to do left-right. Boom. Okay, so now, as we increase and decrease our variables, it's now bumping Ash back and forth, right? Perfect. Perfect, perfect, perfect. So I'm going to go ahead and clip the contents. I'm going to also clip the contents again. Now everything's cleaned up. So now we've got to set a default to be able to get Ash looking right inside of that one pathway that I wanted it to be. So we'll go ahead and put him here. Maybe we'll go 520. And then we'll go 30. Yeah, 35 is good. Okay, cool. So now we're going to be able to bump Ash around using these little prototype increments right here, or these interaction points. So I'm going to work off of the right key here. And we need to set our variable direction to right. We still need to have that, but we want to add another interaction or variable set. So all we have to do is add another action and set a new variable. We're going to set our left because pressing to the right affects the left bumper. So we want to set left to left plus, let's go 5, right? That way we're moving a little bit of speed. Okay, and now I want to make it so we can go backwards. So over on the left arrow, I'm going to set another action. I'm going to set a variable. I'm going to set left to left minus 5. Okay, let's press shift space and see how this is looking. Right, left, look at that. Heck yeah. Wait, he's going backwards. Dude is moonwalking. Maybe we keep that because it's pretty cool. But for game's sake, we have it inversed. So let's go ahead and swap this. Instead of left minus 5, we'll do left plus 5. Easy, easy, easy. And over here, we're going to set left minus 5. All right, there we go, baby. Cool. Now we just want up and down to work as well. So let me go ahead and pause right here. Pause the video. If you've been following along, go ahead and try to sort out how to do the rest of the ups, downs. And additionally, go ahead and actually make them work for the click as well. Go ahead and repeat what I've done already as well. And yeah, I'll see you on the other side. So let's go ahead and do those. 3, 2, 1, we're going. Okay. So we also need to set this same set variable over on the click side. So we're going to set a variable. We're going to do left equals left plus 5. No, actually left minus 5. Okay. And then over here, we want to do another action, set variable left equals left plus 5. Perfect. Okay, let's do this over here too. Set a variable of down to down minus 5. Let's confirm that works. Nope, shoot. Got it inversed again. This is why it's so nice to be able to preview right from here, right? Okay, let's see if that works. Yes, okay, cool. Okay, left up. And we need to also set this click, set variable down to down plus, down plus 5. Okay, and over here, set variable down to down -5. Wait. Yes, okay, cool. Oh, this is getting confusing, but we got this. Down -5. And that's why it's actually best to save. If you're going to do something like this where you have a click and a key press, save the click one or the key press one until you have the rest ready. That way you can copy it and just swap the interaction input, right? Okay, look at this. We've got it ready, and we were moving, and he's going. This is dope. Look at that. So, awesome. We've got... We can't go any further. Wait, what's happening? Oh, look at that. Did you see that? Did you see what happened? It's, okay, I'm bumped. I can't go up now. I'm pressing up. It's not working. What's going on? Well, now it is. Here's what it is. Well, I know what it is, but I'm going to show you what it is first on how to help you debug when you're working inside of prototypes like this. Because sometimes things like that aren't working the way you think they're supposed to be. And you're like, wait, what's going on? Well, here's how to fix that easily, or help you fix that, is you need to do a left like this. You need to debug, basically, just like developers do this. They always like have console logs. Well, you're going to assign the text. You're going to assign that a left, and then you're going to duplicate this. And we'll call this top or down, whatever. We're going to assign this down. Okay, so let's see what's happening. So we're going, look at that, we're going negative, right? You see that? We don't want to go negative. That's not good. When we're going negative, it's going to break, right? So easy. All we have to do is add a conditional. And the good thing is we only need to add a conditional where we're going negative. So we don't actually have to add a conditional on this up because it's not going to go backwards. Well, but then the other side too is maybe we do want it because look, we're hitting the forest. We're out into blank space. So maybe we actually set a maximum cap too on both sides. So we'll do 175 down to 0, and then we'll set, let's see, 795. Okay. 175, 795. Okay. So those are our maximums for the plus side. Okay. So how do we do that? How do we add a conditional? Well, easy. We're just going to press this plus button again. We're going to set a conditional. We're going to do as long as down is less than or equal to 790 or 795. Actually, no, that shouldn't be less than or equal to. That should just be less than 795. So as long as it's less than 795, we can press up. Otherwise, it's going to start bumping. So all we have to do now is move these guys in. Well, oh shoot, I can't drag. That's weird. No, all you have to do is collapse this, drag it inside. Collapse this, drag it inside. Perfect. So let's test this out. Here we go. Wait, shit. I did the wrong conditional. Easy. See, instead of 795, I put the left. This one should be 175. Okay, let's see. Perfect. We can no longer go up. Great. And it's right when I'm hitting the forest too, so it looks awesome. Now, so we'll do the same thing over here. We're going to set a conditional. We're going to say if down is greater than 5, do the things. Okay. Let's see. Perfect. Wait. Oh, I did that on the click. So we're going to set a conditional. We're going to set if down is greater than 5, move it in. Basically, once it hits 5, we're not going to be able to go down lower. Okay? Let's see. Boom. There we go. Easy peasy. We've got our limits, and Ash can no longer walk outside of the map. So it's perfect. So let's go do that on the other side. We're going to do a conditional, and we're going to say if as long as left is less than 795, then do the things. Okay, let's test that out. Perfect. We can't go past this now. Killing it, guys. Okay, let's do this on the other side. We're going to go ahead and do an on conditional. As long as left is greater than 5, then we're going to do it. And I like to like say it out loud if I'm getting confused too on conditional logic. If you notice, like I just said, as long as, right, like that, you know, that's the if statement. As long as this thing is true, then do this. Otherwise, do the other thing, right? So we've got the ability now to move ash throughout the map. Everything's looking awesome. So another cool thing that we could get into if we wanted would be to set a actual like thing, so that once ash hits like this part of the bush, a Pokemon pops up or something like that. That could be really cool. I'd love to see if you could do that. You know, I'll kind of give you the assets for over here so that you can actually use those. What you're going to have to do, just to walk you through some of like the general steps, would be you're going to have to basically, you could set it where only you run, right? You don't actually fight Rad Nolan, right? Because I'm a lover, I'm not a fighter, okay? So here's the things that you would want to do is set a random point where you know, on the conditional side, when you make a movement, right? Once you make a movement, set another conditional right here where it's like if left is 700 and top and down is 50, then that's where Nolan is. And so now you've got to set you know, you got to switch over to a different state, right? So you could do that as a conditional. You could switch the screen, right? You could put this whole screen into a component. You could swap to this side. And then from inside, there could be another component which allows you to use your right arrow keys to be able to move over to the run. And then once you press, you know, enter or something like that, it would send you back over to this side, right? Could be cool to be able to do something like that. Would love to see it if you could do that. That's a pretty complex thing though. So good luck, Godspeed. And yeah, thanks so much for coming with me. I hope you got some juice out of this, because definitely, you know, this is a valuable tool. You know, I know it seems kind of funky and funny that we're using, you know, Ash and Pokemon to be able to do this, but the truth is this is actually like valuable stuff to be able to use your arrow keys, to be able to have conditional logic, to be able to have advanced prototyping using variable assignments and everything. So hang in there. Love to see it. Peace.